So Gatling Gun just got nerfed in the Pursuit rework update, and if you want my opinion, I think the nerf was deserved. Gatling was extremely cost efficient, being able to deal 1000 DPS at max to 2.5 enemies, which is basically 2500 DPS for about the price of 4 max rangers, which would deal about 700 DPS. Sure, it's a level 175 tower and it should be very good, but it should not make the entire game very easy, because there's no fun if there's no effort. But first, before we give our opinion on the nerf, we have to first look at the tower stats from before and after. So make sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and let's get into the video. Level 0 Gatling now costs 750 more and has 1 less damage. Overall, I would think level 0 Gatling is still pretty strong for its price, since it can deal 25 DPS with full map wide range to 2.5 targets, making it 62 DPS for 5750. Level 1 Gatling is also 750 more, as this nerf is pretty minor and still really strong. Okay, level 2 Gatling became 250 cheaper, however it loses 2 damage, making the DPS going from about 70 to 59 multiplied by 2.5, which isn't that bad since level 2 was very strong in the mid game when you had support. I think level 2 is still very strong, but it's not as overpowered as before. Level 3 Gatling got hit with a significant nerf, and now has 4 less damage, and the fire rate is now 0.13, making the DPS go from 138 to 100 times 2.5. Overall, I would say level 3 is still very strong, as it's very cost efficient. If used properly, you can get a DPS of 250 for 33,000, which is very good as it can be consistent with the full map range. Level 4 Gatling got hit with a very big nerf. It lost 8 damage, which makes the DPS go from about 280 to 200. Level 4 is still very good though, as it's still very cost efficient, getting a DPS of 500 with the 2.5 pierce. Level 4 Gatling got hit with a big nerf. It lost 17 damage, making the DPS go from 550 to 380, which with the pierce, you can get 950 for about 130,000, which is still very good cost efficiency. Level 6 Gatling literally lost a third of its DPS. It went from 1000 to 650, and the tower is still great on our island key. Even though turrets does 450 DPS, which with 2 you can do 900, which is more than Gatling. It doesn't have lower range, stun immunity, the pierce, and the cost efficiency of Gatling. Gatling literally has every benefit, and the only weakness is that it can be hard to use, and it doesn't solo everything in Hidden Wave like it used to as easily. Max Gatling can still do about 1600 DPS with the pierce, and with all supports aside from consumables with the rate of fire bug, it does a whopping almost 3000 DPS. Even though the Gatling gun nerf is quite big, it's still very good in my opinion. While not being as good as towers like Ranger and Pursuit anymore, those are just overpowered in general. I would say Gatling is still one of the better late game towers compared to towers like Accelerator and Golden Minigunner. Personally, I would change the pierce to Gatling to 1.75x, so I can bump the single target DPS back to around 900 to 1000.